The Houston Astros didn't make the playoffs in 2025, but that just means we saved dress a lot of money on postseason tickets for Christmas. Here are 25 things we are weirdly thankful for from the 2025 season.
Jainel Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chansey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. My co-host is Brett Chansey. We are the Locked On Astros podcast, part of the number one podcasting network out there, the Locked On Network, and go and check out the number one Astros podcast out there, the Locked On Astros podcast. You know who we are. We've been doing this for a combined 18 years, and we'll be here all offseason to walk you through whatever chaos Dana Brown, Jim Crane, Carlos Correa, if he is the assistant to assistant manager in this situation. We'll go ahead and talk about this all off season. Thank you for becoming everydayers, people that listen to our podcast every day. And we appreciate each one of y'all that have been there since the very beginning. So thank you for all that. And go and make us your first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast, go and check us out. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the app today. So, guys, we are thankful for the Houston Astros. There are so many reasons to be thankful for the Houston Astros. I found 25 of them, and we're going to go ahead and talk about those 25 things. I know that some of them are a little bit funny. They're meant to be humorous. And I wanted to, since the Astros fell one game short of the playoffs this year, I wanted to do something a little bit different. Instead of just highlighting things the Astros did good this year to get to the playoffs or get to where they wanted to be, I want to just kind of throw in some humor. And I'm going to talk to Brett, and maybe we can do a, right before New Year's, maybe we could do some type of roast of the Houston Astros. So I was just thinking about that as we're doing this. So this is not in any type of particular order, but let's just go ahead and do the top 25 reasons to be thankful for the 2025 season as Astros fans. So let's go and get started. The Astros did not finish last in the AL West. It's a small victory, but even the tiny microscopic ones count. So they finished one game short of where they finished last year and one game short of making the playoffs. I know the Mariners were clearly the favorite in the AL West, but there was a time where they were at the bottom of the AL West when they start off the season so bad. So the fact that they did not finish last in this division that started off whatever. The fact that they did not finish last is pretty good accomplishment. So that's number one. Number two, young guys got legit MLB playing time because half of the roster was in the IL, but still, it's experience. So you're talking about guys like Cam Smith. You're talking about all the guys that came up. Just Zach Cole. Like, who would have thought that Zach Cole would become a big name on everybody's shopping list this Christmas? But that's the case. You've got people like Jason Alexander, just a bunch of people that kind of came out of nowhere, but you needed this. We saw this during the 2020 season, the COVID season as well. But you sometimes have to have these guys kind of come out of nowhere and kind of contribute. The Astros farm system is not the strongest. It's one of the worst in baseball. But the Astros somehow found some people to help in 2025. Number three, the rotation didn't completely explode in August. It was just lightly smoked, a slow burn, manageable fire. We all know that like I said, they fell one game short. If maybe Framber Valdez had a better start here or there, if maybe Jason Alexander didn't have that one bad start against the Seattle Mariners, you could point to any pitcher like Hunter Brown. He even had a couple bad starts down the stretch. So you can look at any starter. Christian Javier, he was good here. He was bad there. Good here, bad there, bad there. So if you had a little bit more consistency towards the end, maybe we'd be talking about a different outcome to 2025 season. But it wasn't a bonfire. It wasn't a dumpster fire. It was just a bad, the starting rotation just wasn't as good as it was to start the season. So I guess the question was, if the Astros did make the playoffs, would you have been confident with the Astros rotation outside of Framber Valdez, Hunter Brown, and surprisingly enough, Jason Alexander? So we'll talk about Jason Alexander in a second. Number 4 on the list is Christian Walker. He had 27 homers, 88 RBIs, in 150 games. He was a strong veteran presence there, but he was also the scapegoat of the season. Everybody's fingers pointed to, it's his fault. Trade him. I think a lot of it has to do with the money that the Astros paid him. A lot of money. 3 years, $60 million, $20 million per season. He's supposed to come in and be that guy that the Astros were missing at first base since Yuli Gurriel left. But he wasn't that guy at first. But he came on in the second half. 27 homers, 88 RBIs. He still got the job done. And it may not have been what he's done previously with the Diamondbacks. But with a better hitting coach, maybe a different philosophy, maybe we'll see a different Christian Walker in 2026. Maybe that's something we can also roast on New Year's, but we'll talk about that later. Number 5, Jake Myers hit 292 in 104 games. He finally showed that he could be offensive, the offensive presence I think the Astros really, really thought he could have been in the first place. He missed some time, yes, but when he came back, he contributed, maybe not at the same rate he did before, but he really, really helped them. But he also became a really valuable trade piece this offseason. And I don't know if the Astros are going to really invest in somebody like Jake Myers. I think they really got some bigger fish to fry, so to speak. So maybe you can get a starting pitcher, maybe a valuable reliever in a transaction with him. So who knows? It just depends on, do you think that you have a center fielder in place? Cam Smith, can he move to center field? Can Cole play center field? Can Jacob Melton be an everyday center fielder? These are all the questions that Dana Brown is going to sleep every night asking himself. But Jake Myers, you really have to be thankful for what he did in 2025. And Brian Abreu, number 6. I know he struggled a little bit as a closer, but he had a 2.28 ERA in 71 innings. He stepped in as the closer when Josh Hader, and I probably should talk about Josh Hader. This dude, when he was not hurt, he was one of the best closers in the game. It really showed why the Astros went out there and gave him that huge contract. But then he had his first injury that he's had his entire career. And so Josh Hader, I guess we can throw both these guys in together. Like Brian Abreu, he stepped in when Josh Hader went down, but unfortunately he may not have that closer's like bulldog mentality. So who knows what's going to happen with Abreu, but Josh Hader, man, when he was healthy, he was one of the best guys out there. So real quickly, I'll go and do number 7 before our first break. Jose Altuve. I know a lot of people have said I've been very critical of Jose Altuve, but he still hit 26 home runs, had 77 RBIs. He had 156 games playing left field, second base, DH. He played 47 games in left field, 66 games at second base, and 49 games as a designated hitter. At one point, it was pretty much a three-way split. But then he started playing more second base after the Carlos Correa acquisition, and Cole started playing a little bit more. But when batting third, he had some dynamic stats. When batting third in the lineup, he hit 276 with a 338 on base percentage, 516 slugging, 854 with 20 home runs, 54 RBIs. And as a left fielder, he actually did better as a DH with a 816 on OPS with 10 home runs with a 268 batting average. So overall, he's a better DH at this stage of his career and batting third. So just chew on that as you're celebrating Thanksgiving with your family. So guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to us. Go and make us first listen in 2026 and the rest of 2025. When we get back, we'll go and continue this list. Thank you for making the Locked On Astros podcast the number one Astros podcast out there, part of the number one at Locked On Podcast Network. Hey guys, let's go and talk about FanDuel. I know right now it's football season and you've got baseball going on. So there's just so much, not baseball, but football and basketball. There's so much going on right now. So I know baseball's not here, but there's no better place to get into the action like FanDuel, the official betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game or you want to ride the hot hand like Kevin Durant, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine live bets into same game parlays for a shot at bigger payouts. It keeps every game exciting from Texans to Rockets to Astros once the season comes back. But right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel. It's the official sporting book betting partner of the NBA. Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen on. Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen. Whether it's on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to us. Go ahead and make us first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts, go and check us out. So we are doing the 25 reasons to be thankful as an Astros fan for the 2025 season. I know it seems a little bleak because they had 87 wins. All they needed was one more win to basically get into the postseason. But you can cry over spilled milk or you just look forward to next season. But right now we are looking at things that I just came up with. Some of these are meant to be funny. Some of them are really serious. So Isak Paredes, this number 8, became the king of professional at-bats. He hit so many line drives that StatCast considered filing a restraining order. We're talking about a dude that missed so much time, but he still had a 352 on base percentage, slugged 458, had an 810 on base percentage, and a 123 on base. So sorry, on OPS plus in limited games. He only had he missed so much time just because of the hamstring injury, and he's still not fully recovered from that. And the fact that he came back to try to play to get the Astros into the postseason, and if to play in the postseason, should the Astros have made it, you should be really thankful for what Isak Paredes gave to this team. Hopefully, the Astros don't trade him. Hopefully, the Astros can figure out a way where they can play him. So it's going to be a lot of rotations. You're going to be seeing players playing a lot of different places. Let's go and go on to number 9, Hunter Brown. Of course, we all kind of thought that he was a very good pitcher, but he has 2.43 ERA in 185 innings. He had a 12-9 record, but he also had 206 strikeouts in those 185 innings. He also had 24 scoreless inning streak, and he finished third in the AL Cy Young vote We understand that, but the fact that he was in that, it gives the Astros a PPI pick, meaning they get a first round pick in 2026, assuming they don't trade for a player, a free agent that has a qualifying offer attached. That means they may lose that pick. So just something to be thankful for. Number 10, they managed to remain competitive on offense despite major injuries to Jordan Alvarez. Pena missed some time. Isak Paredes missed a lot of time. I can go throughout the whole list, but at one point you had 18 players on the IL. And I believe that the Astros led the league in games missed by just a wide margin. And the fact that the Astros were so close to the playoffs, that means a lot. And it also gave all these other players a lot of playing time. So the fact that they remain competitive, especially without Alvarez in the lineup, that's really good. So number 11, the Astros ranked well in avoiding catastrophic defensive breakdowns, even though the runs allowed weren't wildly inflated. They allowed 665 runs in 2025. A lot of that has to do with the pitching. A lot of that has to do with the defense. I know that you had a pretty good defense out there. This is where I'm going to talk about Cam Smith. You really can't say a lot of good things about his offense because he didn't really come out offensively this year, but defensively, the fact that he was in the top 3 for the Gold Glove when he was a third baseman for most of his life, and he goes out there and finishes in the top 3 in a Gold Glove in right field. You have Jake Myers out there in center field, and we're not going to sugarcoat it and say that Altuve or Alvarez are Gold Glovers in left field, but you have a infield that's pretty much Gold Glove type material. So you have a pretty good defensive team. I know the catchers could use some work, but the fact that they can go out there and prevent some runs is a pretty good job. But that's why they want to keep Altuve away from second base, because he's just not that good a defender there. So they went to, for number 12, they turned to younger arms and unknown arms and got contributions. You're talking about players that you've never heard of, like Stephen Ockert. I guess some of these guys you've heard of, but it just was a situation where you went to a lot of players that you never heard of. And it's just amazing, like Jason Alexander, just all the names that the Astros had to go to, Colton Gordon. There's just names that you're like, wait, who are these guys? Del Santos. There's just so many different names the Astros went to. And the fact that they contributed, the fact that they actually helped you get to where you wanted to be, that was pretty impressive for the season. So that was a good thing. Sorry. Lost my place. Let's go ahead and go to the Pythagorean. I'm an ex-math teacher, so they prevented runs way better than their Pythagorean expectations. 665 runs allowed. They scored 686, indicating pitching and defense helped hold the opponents below what the offense gave them. We know that the offense was something that struggled throughout the season, but the pitching did its job to basically try to help as much as possible. It just was the offense was not really good enough to get the job done. And that's something that the Astros did to bring in the new hitting coaches to try to fix things, try to have a new philosophy, and just get things going. Because if the Astros pitching continues to do what they did last year and the offense continues to develop, especially if Cam Smith figures a way to hit more regularly than if Cole becomes the guy that Dana Brown thinks he's going to become, and if you have maybe Christian Walker take that step forward like he did before, I think that this team could be a better team. So the Dynasty isn't dead. It's just recharging. The 2025 tested everybody's patience, but the core pieces, some farm talent, and future payroll, well, let's just say some future payroll flexibility makes 2026 a lot brighter. It just depends on what they do with that. And before we go to the next break, number 15, there are fewer heartbreaks. When I say heartbreaks, I mean those one-run losses. Mostly because they weren't in a lot of one-run games, problem solved. But in 2025, they were 27 and 17. In 2024, they're 18 and 27. So that is one fewer one-run game. Just something to chew on. So, guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Go and subscribe to us. Go and make us first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Go and check us out. Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. If I have not already done so, happy Thanksgiving to those of y'all that celebrate, those of y'all outside of the country. Excuse the Thanksgiving reference, but you still probably have something that you can be thankful for. So we're just kind of going over a lot of things that we are, as Astros fans, should be thankful for. So let's go ahead and talk about number 16. Jeremy Pena found his power button again. It was behind the fridge the whole time. I mean, especially once he found it and started batting leadoff. You're talking about a guy in 96 games. He slashed 317, 372, 501, 873 with 14 home runs. He stole 15 bags and posted a 131 OPS plus. Meaning he was 31% better than the average MLB hitter leading off. So this was 126 hits out of the leadoff position. So the Astros had 99 problems, but Jeremy Pena was not one. I probably should have done this one earlier, but I didn't really take the time to put this in order. But the 2025 season is over. The stress of everything is over. All the whining about, Joe Espada should have done this, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes the biggest blessings is simply the finish line. And especially once you realize, hey, this team is not good enough for the playoffs, it was just kind of like, okay, great. It's over. So that was number 17. Number 18, the bullpen didn't give everybody heart attacks this year. Just a little bit of mild anxiety. That's an improvement. They led the league with 10.05 strikeouts per 9 inning. They're third with walks per 9 inning with 3.20. And they're third in strikeouts with 647 and eighth with the 3.70 ERA. So there's some like Stephen Ockert, Brian King. There's some guys that at times they were pretty dominant. De Los Santos, once he came over, then you had Souza later in the season. So you had some bright spots kind of come out of nowhere for the Houston Astros. That was number 18. The Astros traded for El Jefe. That is Carlos Correa. And he got back to being his ways of being the clubhouse leader. Ever so much so that it appears that Joe Espada is making him the assistant to the assistant regional manager. If you don't get that reference, that's from The Office. Oh, yeah. He also batted 290 with a 785 OPS with 6 homers, almost as much as he had with the Twins, and a 117 OPS plus in the 51 games back with H-Town. It was good to have Correa back. I know I kind of talked about this, but I thought this was funny, so I put this in. Number 20. Isak Paredes becomes the guy who never strikes out, which is in this lineup is like spotting a unicorn at Buc-ee's. Ha ha ha. A little bit of dad joke there. Number 21, Farmer Valdez rediscovered his curveball. It's been missing since 2023, but it finally wandered home like a stray cat. Farmer Valdez, when his curveball was on, that's when he had some of his best starts. When he didn't have command of his pitches, that's when you saw the blow up games. That's when you saw him kind of lose his composure and whatever happened with Cesar Salazar. But hopefully, whatever happens to Framber Valdez, hopefully he develops into the pitcher that we've seen with the Astros at times and maintains that consistency. Mauricio Dubon, number 22, proved once again how valuable he is with the glove, subbing through all the injuries. He played all the different positions. And I know a lot of people, since he's been traded, has said, well, he's just not that good a hitter. And yes, he has not been the best hitter throughout this whole time, but still, if you just look at what he's done, he can basically play every position except for pitcher and catcher. And he was the quote unquote emergency catcher. So the Astros have to find somebody that could be that super utility guy like him. So that was that one. So I think I missed one up there, but I'll throw it in here. So I'm a little bit off, but number 23, since Seinfeld was canceled, Jason Alexander had nothing better to do than save the Astros season by pitching great. I mean, who would have thought that Jason Alexander, who was DFA'd by the Athletics, the A's, who were one of the worst teams in baseball. I know they kind of came on towards the end of the season, but to not be able to make it on the team, some of the teams that he was pitching on, and then all of a sudden to have all this success. I know that he said that he discovered some of the stuff with I believe he said with the Red Sox, but he just seemed to just have that knack. And once he figured it out and the Astros gave him the chance to pitch at the big league level, he just was on a whole different level. And if Jason Alexander can pitch like he did last year, the Astros will be okay with him as the fourth or fifth starter. They just need somebody to emerge as the third starter. Hopefully that's Christian Javier. Number 24, Dana Brown knew that there's nothing he could do to re-sign Kyle Tucker, as we're seeing a lot of teams, even the Cubs, are like, yeah, that's a lot of money you're asking for. So he turned Kyle Tucker into Isak Paredes, Hayden Wesneski, and Cam Smith. So the Cubs gave up 14 potential years of club control for 1 year in Kyle Tucker. And it didn't really pay off too much. Yes, he was a good player, but it didn't really get them to where they wanted to be, which was to the World Series. So was it a wasted trade for the Cubs? No. They were hoping that he would just restart their offense. And for a while there, he did. But then he had that phantom injury like he always tended to have with the Houston Astros. And the Cubs just kind of fell a little bit short. Number 25 or 24, whatever it is, Joe Espada, despite all the chaos, all the injuries, losing Kyle Tucker, Alex Bregman, everything that's happened, that was the 2025 season. He never lost his cool, never got, that we saw, he never got angry, and got the Astros back within one game of making a playoff, despite the terrible starts. So I know people are critical of Joe Espada. I know that Brett and I have been critical of him as well, but what he did that last season was impressive. He should have got some more votes for a manager of the year. I don't think he was the best manager in the American League, but I think he should have got some more votes than he did, considering all the injuries and everything. And the last one, number 25 or number 26, and depending on if I missed one, the Astros had a winning record in extra innings. This is something that the Astros have been struggling with for many, many, many years. But this year they were 8-7 in extra innings. It's one game over 500, but it's much better than the 6-10 record they had in 2024. So that's something to be thankful for. So there are a lot more things that I probably could have been thankful for. There's a lot more players that we could have added to this list, but this is just something that I thought about as I was coming up with the 25 things. There's probably another 5 to 10. I know that the Astros missed the playoffs, but they still had a pretty good season. So from Brett, from myself, guys, have a happy Thanksgiving, and hopefully you're able to have dinner with your family, watch some football games, and just relax. And that's the big part of Thanksgiving, is just being there with your family. And so we are thankful for every one of you that have helped us to get where we are. So thank you, everydayers, for making the Locked On Astros podcast what is. And go and subscribe to us. Go and make us your first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast, go and check us out. And we will see you. I think Brett may be doing a show either tomorrow or Friday. But guys, as we always say, go Stros, and we will see you later.